if you're someone who faced obstacles when reaching your goals due to your past trauma, then this show is for you. Together, we're going to embark on a journey to empower, support, and guide you towards a resilient and a powerful 2024. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another week of a Woman's Worth Talk Show. And today marks the beginning of a transformative journey now that we stepped into December. Our team of coaches and I are here with a powerful mission. Throughout this month, our focus is on empowering women who face trauma, helping them prepare for the new year and embrace new beginnings. It's about breaking barriers, achieving goals, and creating lasting change. December isn't just another month. We know December is that month of preparation. It sets the stage for a remarkable new year. So we're here to provide guidance, support, and strategies to help you make that happen. So if you're ready to make December a month of transformation and empowerment, you are in the right place. So let's kick off this talk show. Let's focus on renewing your mind, removing the trauma mindset, and laying the foundation for a year filled with possibilities. How's that sound to you, ladies? How's that sound? But before we begin, I want to turn it over to trauma addiction recovery coach Sonia, who's going to introduce herself, and then she's going to give you a little housekeeping about how we operate here on the talk show. Sonia?
Yes. Thank you, Mindset Coach Natalie. Hi, ladies. I am Sonia Renteria, trauma addiction recovery coach. And let me tell you all a little bit about myself. I specialize in supporting women who have experienced trauma caused by addiction. I help them overcome various traumas and navigate the challenging path of recovery. I'm dedicated to helping others with similar situations and committed to provide a safe and supporting space for my coaching clients to heal and grow. Although I do not treat addiction directly, I do help provide tools and techniques to help my coaching clients to develop resilience and self-care practices that support their overall well-being. I also develop strategies and managing coping skills and mechanisms to focus on empowering clients to live a healthier and fulfilling life beyond addiction. So, yes, ladies, welcome to She's Taking Her Life Back YouTube Live. And today we have a great, we're going to be speaking about a great title. How do you say, Natalie? A title.
A great topic.
A topic, excuse me, a topic which is preparing for 2024, preparing for resilience for 2024 and renewing the trauma mindset. So I want to welcome you all to a Women's Worth Talk Show. And this is not just a show. This is an interactive experience, and your participation is the heart of it. So here's I'm gonna give you some ways how you can participate and join. Remember, go to our YouTube live and you have to click unsubscribe, ladies. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, we're trying to build a community here. So to make this work, we need your support. So please hit the join button. And once you join, remember to follow us, like, and set up for notifications for whenever She's Taking Her Life Back. YouTube Live is going to be on. You can get notifications on your Facebook, on your YouTube. Just remember to set that little bell. So we will be having an opening and welcome. Like right now, if you are in our live, I want to remind you that you can put a message and let us know your name and where you're tuning on from. And me and our coaches will be monitoring the comments. I will mostly be monitoring comments so we can respond to you. And if you are logging in from Facebook, remember to allow StreamYard permission. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see, so we can see your name on StreamYard, okay? So we can see it on the live, your name and your comments. We'll be able to know who you are and see your
Yes.
name. If not, it won't allow us to know who is commenting or who is in the other end. So
Yes.
other than this, Natalie, we will be having announcements. So I want them to stay tuned. And just a reminder, ladies, that um, we will be having news about our following shows, our future um what we're going to be speaking on the future. We have a lot to bring to y'all right now for the 2024. Remember, this is a new year that is about to begin. This is already
Yes.
ending. So we're going to speak about all the new things that we want to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be providing resources and tips at the end of this segment. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, you can always find them on the link under after we finish our live. You can always go log in, click on the link, and you can receive information. If we miss one of your comments, remember we always take the time to go back and reread
Yes.
them. If you come back later and view our live and you leave a message, we will respond to you in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, ladies, remember to engage, interact, and let us make this enriching experience together. Your questions and insights matter, and your journey is inspiration. Also, one more thing, Natalie, that I would like to say before I give it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to let them know that I want you to let the ladies know and our viewers that you still have. I was remembering that you have some openings for your coaching. So if anybody's interested in coaching, you have a
Yes.
few openings right now. Do
Yes.
some translation. So you have some openings. If somebody's interested in coaching class, they can have a one-on-one with you since you have some
Yes.
openings available at this moment. So back to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Sonia, for that. Thank you, Sonia. We want people to know that we have coaching packages available. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for telling the viewers that. Yes, that's important. We're just not here to give information. That's one part of it, but we want to be your coach,
Absolutely.
particularly going into this new year.
Oh,
But let
yes.
me tell you a brief history about me and why I created She's Taking a Life Back, and then we're going to get into today's topic, which is renewing the trauma mindset as we go into 2024. Right. So I'm Natalie. I'm the CEO and founder of She's Taking a Life Back. And I just want to share with you why I created She's Taking a Life Back. The reason why I did is because I overcame traumas. Overcame the traumas of domestic violence. I overcame, and let me go back to domestic violence, the cycle of domestic violence relationships,
Mhm.
one after another, saying, you know what, after I leave this one, the next one's going to be the good one, cycle one after another. But I broke free from that. I experienced childhood sexual assault, which really robbed my life of safety. But I've dealt with that. I am a daddyless daughter. I grew up with my father inconsistently in my life, which actually is the first trauma in my life, which I talk about and I wrote a book about. And we'll talk about that on another live. But at the end of the day, as a result of me healing from the trauma, and I'm still doing the work, I said, you know what? I want to help women out there who are in similar experiences. I don't want to just hold this information for myself and go on, because I truly believe, God brought me through all of that so I can be available to help other women. So that's when I started She's Taking Her Life Back. Because ladies, you know what? We can take our life back. It's time to
Absolutely.
take your life back. So tonight we're going to help you do that. We're going to go into a couple of different segments, and then we're going to go into some activities and some resources and skills to help you go into 2024. And I want to say this, the reason why my coaches and I are coming up with this kind of conversation in the month of December, because we all know when we get to January, we all start listing all them goals. This year I'm going to do this. This year, I did it too for years. This is the year I'm going to do so and so, right? So, I was talking with somebody, I think it was yesterday. It's like we just can't say to people, go and get your life back, go and reach those goals. People need the step by step. People need to know how to do that. How do I do that? Particularly with the women that we talk to experience trauma, because the women I talk to are the women who, yeah, I'm trying to get there, right? I'm trying to get to my goal, but for whatever reason, I'm not there. I've been trying to get to this goal for years. I procrastinate, I sabotage opportunities, and it gets frustrating because we know a lot of time it's not because of our ability, because we have the ability to do it. But we're trying to figure out what is stopping me. Everybody may not embrace this, but I just ask you, just take a look. Take a look into maybe it could be your trauma mindset. And just maybe. And the reason why I went into learning different things, believe me, I didn't go into it say, okay, let me go in this thing, because I know as a result of this ain't working, it's not working, so let me try this. Ain't nothing, let me try this. So that's what I did over in my life. But the thing is, the hard thing about this particular subject, when we talk about helping women with trauma mindset, one, when people hear that term trauma mindset, they get put off. And there's some people who really don't understand that even though you're out of those situations, even though you're no longer in a domestic violence situation, even though you're no longer using substances, you have got to renew your mindset. And maybe that's the reason for the self-sabotage. Remember, we operate based on our belief system. We do it in a subconscious way, which means of how, you kind of like, there are like 100 in a room. Somehow, I'm going to connect one man in that room that is not good for me. And you ask yourself, how do I keep selecting these men over and over again? Because it's never my intention. Can you identify with that? But the reason it may be happening is because there is a belief system that's still in your mind, that's been operating and doing the choosing in your life. So no matter what you say out of your mouth consciously, I want to reach my goal, I want a better relationship, I want all those great things, you're going to continue to say that every time you reach another new year. So make this the year that you say, I don't know, I don't agree with this trauma mindset thing, but you know what? Everything else I tried didn't work. Let me take a look. Just be open. Listen to what we have to say, because we may have some good stuff that answers your questions on why you're stuck. So I just wanted to share that. So what we do here as She's Taking a Life Back, we help renew the mindset. But today we're going to help you renew the mindset to go to your next level, which is next year, which is less than a month away, right? So let's get started. Let's start talking about it, right? So today's topic again, like Sonia mentioned, it is. Oh, give me a second. I want to put it on so you guys know what we're talking about. Let me put it on the board. Here we go. Right here. The name of the topic is Preparing for a Resilient 2024, Renewing the Trauma Mindset. So we're just not going to say it to you. Today, we're going to begin the journey of showing you how to do that. Some steps you need to take, things that you can do, right? So let's get started. Segment 1, this is the first part of our talk show. It is going to be about reflecting on the past year's lessons. Come on, ladies, we got to talk about that. We just can't go into the new year without reviewing this year. We got to review. We got to look and say, okay, let me see. What were my wins this year? What were the things I didn't accomplish? What were some of the lessons that I've learned? We need to do that at the end of the year before we go into our next. So we want to talk about in this segment, let's reflect on past year's lessons. So we're going to dive into a reflective journey, focusing on renewing the mindset after the lessons learned in the past year. We're going to discuss strategies. We're going to foster a trauma-informed mindset and setting those resilient goals for 2024. Let me tell you this. Before we begin, I want to take a moment that everybody that's viewing this live, whether it's the live or whether it's the replay, I want you to feel free to connect with us. Sonia mentioned, like, this is how we connect. Feel free to ask us the questions. Feel free to get in that chat and say, you know what, that was me too. I've been frustrated. I want to learn the steps on developing a trauma-informed mindset. You know, comment after we off this live. Like Sonia said, we're going to come back and we're going to look at the comments. So we want you to tune in. We want this to be interactive. We want to help you, but we want to hear from you as well, right? So let's do this, right? I want you to begin to acknowledge our journey that we just went through in 2023. I want you to do that so we can understand how do we get to where we are today, even before we go to 2024. I want you to ask yourself, what were some significant lessons you learned during the year? It's important. Let's look at our life. What did I learn? And this is whether you accomplished that goal or not. If you didn't accomplish your goal, what did you learn about yourself this year regarding that goal? What are the lessons that you learned? It's important to know that. So I want to put it out there. And also, Sonia and I are going to answer the same questions. We're going to answer. We're going to let you know what are the lessons that we learned, the ones we learned this year. Right? So let me put that question up. I want everybody to see that question. What were your biggest lessons from this past year? Some of the key takeaways, whether they were challenges, whether they were achievements, again, whether they were moments of growth, even if you procrastinated, you had moments of growth until you stopped. Let's review that. Let's take a look at that. Right? So I want to give you just a moment to reflect. I want you to give you a moment just to think about 2023. We're going to pause for a minute. We're going to give you that minute to start thinking about it. And those of you who or really want to take it to another level, put it in the chat. Put your answers there. And you'll be surprised that you may not be the only one with that same response. Or you may be helping to encourage someone else to go into the chat because they will look at your response and say, wow, me too. So let's interact that way, right? So take a minute, reflect on last year's lessons learned, because it is the first step in understanding where we're at today. So let's take a moment.
Ooh, I can't wait to talk about this.
Ooh, yes.
There yourself.
What were the lessons learned? Right. What was the lessons learned? And before we open up to the chat, we're going to have Sonia start us off. She's going to start us off. Again, we're going to share ours. We're real transparent as coaches. We're going to share the things we learned from this year. All right. Sonia, you want to start?
Of course. I want to share this one. It's kind of like it goes with dealing with unhealthy relationship, or not really unhealthy relationship, but dealing on my past unhealthy relationship and bringing that to this relationship I'm in, my marriage. And it's going to be also involved with my recovery, maintaining my recovery. So let me explain a little bit about this to all our viewers. Natalie, what was one of my biggest lessons learned this past year? First, remember, I got married. I kept procrastinating procrastinating. Not only on I have a great relationship with my spouse. It's not perfect because, like
Mhm.
Natalie says, we don't have this perfect life that, oh, she's perfect, she got a job, she do. No, I have struggles just like everybody else. I am human and I have struggles, and I go through situations through where I have to make decisions. And this lesson I learned was that first I didn't want to get married because my mindset, my trauma mindset kept telling me
Mhm.
once you get married, then they get control. Then they feel like they own you because I've been in this before. So in my
Say
mind,
that.
I think, but we're happy. We living together for almost 4 years now, you know. So why do we need to get married, baby? We got a baby. We're married. We happy. Everything's good. Like it's the paper's not going to change nothing. But he kept telling me, I want to marry you. You don't love me enough to marry me. I'm like, I love you so much, but things are gonna change. And he kept asking, why you think? I said, because they changed. Then you think like, oh, now I'm your spouse, I owe you. So I did learn my lesson. It didn't change in that way. Um, I did get married. I kept procrastinating, saying next month.
Congratulations.
We should move it to next year. We ended up marrying in June, and it was a great experience. Everything was going good, great. I didn't have personal problems in my relationship, as in fights, abuse. But speaking about the same thing, what were my biggest lesson learned this past year? I learned that it's not what I experienced on the past, my trauma, even though I worked through, I went to therapy, to counseling, there were some things that I was still scared of. And I
Mhm.
was still scared of giving that next step and saying, I'm going to mess it all up. Once I
Well,
do that, it's like I'm opening up again, and
yeah.
he's going to see right through me. And
Right.
he already knows everything for me. So why did I feel this way? Because I was still scared of losing a person I love, and I'm so happy due to
Mhm.
this small little change that for me was like the biggest change.
Mhm.
The second, that it has to be in the same format, in the same personality. And I had a conversation with Natalie speaking about my personal life.
Mhm.
Um, I am in recovery. There was a situation where my spouse went through a situation and I felt where, I had to put my foot down. So that was my
Mhm.
lesson learned. I went through a situation where I did not run to go get high to cope with whatever I was going
Come on,
through.
come on, come on. Mhm.
Whatever happened in my relationship that we were trying to work through, and he had death in the family and he was going through a lot, and I feel like he was isolating, and I was trying to
Mhm.
give him space, but I felt like we were going too much apart. Now you're not opening up with me. So I started feeling like, am I not doing something right? But then I had to say, no, I have to stop blaming myself and feel like I'm not doing nothing right.
Yes.
To give,
Yes.
but I had to learn from everything I've learned in my recovery, and she's taking her life back in growing as a person. And I had to sit down and say, okay, this is how I feel. Now it's affecting my state of mind. It's affecting my feelings and emotions because I'm feeling like, hey, we're growing apart. What's going on? I understand, but if you don't open up to me. So I've learned that even though it did affect me in a certain way, I was able to speak. I called my one of my supports, which was Natalie. Hey, I'm going through this and
Mhm.
this. I did call
Mhm.
a spiritual
Mhm.
life coach, Julia, and I
Mhm.
had a face life with her. Hey, I'm going through this. What you think? I'm working it out. I'm doing this. She said, you're doing the right thing. You know what else? I said, well, I'm trying to figure out, because I'm to that point where I say, oh, I wanted to blow up. I
Yeah.
wanted to walk out
Mhm.
the door and say, I need some air too. You need some space too. You need space? Well, I need space. I'm tired from work. I'm still doing, she's taking her life back, but I need a
Mhm.
break too. But I have a
Yeah.
child and he has a child too. And I'm like, okay, we go. He cares for him while I'm at work. I come home, I care for him. And I'm like, he's still doing his father duties. He's still trying. He's just growing apart from me because I didn't understand that he was kind of like ashamed and didn't know how to open up because he felt like he was losing a family member and losing another family member. It was becoming too overwhelmed for him. And even though I
Mhm.
was trying to be supporting, I was still feeling like I was being pushed. Like he felt like you're not gonna understand. but I had to say my biggest lesson learned was I had to sit down and speak. I didn't keep it to myself. That if I speak and I speak my mind, Natalie, and I'm able to say, and like you say, setting boundaries, okay,
Mhm.
this is what we're going to do. We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to work through this plan. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll have to go to other measures. Like, then we have to go to
Mhm.
plan B. Plan
Yes,
B,
yes.
and maybe you need some help. Maybe I'll need some therapy, but we're going to have to work it out as a couple, see what's going on. Why is we starting? And and like I say, as a trauma addiction recovery coach and a person that is in recovery, every time I went through a situation when it was too overwhelming for me, my
Mhm.
first thought was my escape. That was my escape. Go and use drugs. Go and get, because I feel like that would numb my pain. That would make me forget for a moment everything that was going on. But I didn't do that. And that was one of my biggest lessons learned. I don't need to get high to feel better. I don't need to use
No
to
matter what happens.
what happens. It wasn't
Mhm.
gonna solve my situation. It wasn't gonna make it any better. Maybe it would have just took me in a deeper depression or something. So I want everybody that's out there that you know in all this I've learned
Mhm.
about my procrastination. I grew
Mhm.
on my procrastination. I knew that I can still maintain my sobriety even when something big hits you.
Mhm.
And I learned that I cannot bring my past relationships into the new relationship. I have to leave that baggage out the door. So I
Mhm.
had in one thing, three different things that I've learned this year, Natalie, and that have helped me. I hope to learn more and take it through the next year because I have plans and I'm planning to work on them. So I
Mhm.
want everybody to know that as long as you continue and find that support that you need, don't keep it to yourself. Because I think if I would have
Mhm.
called my support group, maybe I wouldn't be right here sitting in this space right now speaking to you all.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Some real stuff. Some real life stuff. Real life stuff. And I'm sure, Sonia, that somebody out there is viewing or will view this talk show topic will identify with things that you say, and you giving them hope. Like, you know what? They go through stuff. I'm go through stuff. But check this out. This is what I was thinking as you were saying. But you still can work on taking your life back, because Sonia didn't skip a beat when it came to taking her life back. Yeah, I have to work out some stuff. Yeah, I got to do some stuff. But I'm still on this journey to take my life back. And that's one of the reasons why. One reason why people procrastinate, because they like, you know what? I got too much stuff going on. I gotta worry about this. I don't have time for this. I don't know how many times I heard that, Sonia. I don't have time for this. I'm gonna have to put this on the back burner because I gotta take care of this. Sonia, you skip a beat. Yeah, I can take care of this, but I'm still taking my life back. I love that about Sonia. She ain't skip a beat. I'm still doing what I gotta do for me.
For me.
For
Absolutely.
me. Wow. And it can be done. And still care about your children, still care about your husband, still there. But this ain't stopping me from taking my life back.
Absolutely.
Good for you. That was great, great. I gotta admit, Sonia, I'm struggling. I was like struggling, like, oh my God, struggling to come up. And I kind of put this topic together like last week sometime, and I'm like, what I'm gonna say? What was the lesson learned? The reason why I was a struggle, I'm sitting there like everything that I'm like, okay, I learned that 2 years ago, and I learned that 3 years ago, so what can I say that's new that I learned? Like, I already learned that then. I learned that, but this was something that came up, and it was a lesson learned. And I was talking to a friend who kind of can identify what I was about to tell you, and I was like, wow, this is something kind of new in my life. And what I'm gonna talk about, and I tell you about the lesson I learned. Y'all not gonna I have to pause for a minute, because I just want you to know what I'm about to say. I'm so serious about me feeling this way on a real level. So this year, I turned 61. And like prior to this, like over the last several years, I was 50, I was 55, I was 57. I'm walking around like, yeah, girl, I still got it. I still got it. Yeah, I still got it. But this year was the first year, girl, you have to accept the fact that you 61. You're 61. And then I started thinking about real talk, Sonia, because I'm on the hunt to find my Mr. Right, right? I'm sitting back, well, I'm 61. Like a lot of men my age, they looking for women that's like 30 and 40. That's gonna reduce. That's gonna reduce my chances. I went there for a minute. Then I was talking to a friend. They were like, "You too." I was thinking the same thing. You too. Then I was like, "Oh, hell no." Oh, first of all, I'm not even looking for a man that's looking for somebody 30 and 40. If that's you, you're not for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are men out there who I'm looking for 50, 55, 60, 63. Long as you're in good shape, long as we can have fun, it's okay. They're going to want me at 61. Because let me tell you some real talk. Women know there are women out there who are 61 and telling you they 41.
Oh,
There are women out there who are 61 and telling you they 41. Because, see, I can't let you know how old I really am.
mhm.
There are women out there, and believe me, I experienced this. The people that I knew growing up, their mothers were telling them, don't tell anybody I'm your mother, tell them I'm your aunt. I don't want any man to think like I have grown kids your age. They're going to think I'm old. This is a real talk. This is some real conversation with women who are over 55 and 60. Real talk. Real talk. And the reason why I said people are not going to believe me, this is some real stuff for me. I often get from people, I know you got a man. I got him. That's from your perspective. My trauma head says, I'm 61. I'm getting older. They're going to want somebody younger. That's some real conversations that women at my age have. I don't care what you think about, no, Nelly, I can't believe you think. Yes, that was a lesson learned. And I said, you know what? Even if there's men that think that way, it's okay. It's okay. Because yeah, I am 61. And I'm not 30. And I'm not 40. I am 61. And that means that there are men out there who are not going to want me at 61. And it's okay. But for a moment, it wasn't okay. It wasn't. I was like, Sonia, I'm big on like real talk. I was like, yeah, 61 where? Like, I was like, oh, I do that as a joking, but inside, I'm like, I'm 61. I'm 61. I got grandkids. My oldest one, a couple of years, he gonna make me a great grandmother. And I had to own that. I had to accept it's okay. But the beautiful thing about the renewing, because honestly, that was a trauma response. That was a trauma response
Yes,
that connected me
absolutely.
to the wrong belief. Because there are men who are gonna want me. Because how many women have you seen, like whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on social, whatever, who are like 75 and they get married?
Absolutely.
75, 80 years old, they walking down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
But you see how our trauma mindset can do to us? Have us thinking a wrong thoughts. And I know some women who just say, I'm just not gonna date anymore because ain't nobody gonna want me. So that was a lesson that I learned. Because honestly, I worked through a lot of other stuff, a list of stuff, but that one was new this year. You have to accept that you're 61. Mind you, it is not stopping me. It ain't not stopping me, but it affected my thought process for a moment. So that was my lesson learned. That was my lesson
Wow.
learned.
Wow, Natalie. Well, I was listening to you and I wanted to laugh because I was like, damn, you look so good to be 61. I need to look that good when I'm 61 because you look great. And like like I said, yes, that was your trauma mindset because you're
Yeah.
speaking about resilience and everything, and resilience
Yes.
about that cultivating our mental and emotional strength, and you have that. I know it's a setback, but what they said, setbacks are opportunities for growth, and you're gonna find that Mr. Right. That's what you're getting.
Yes.
You're ready. You're preparing yourself. You know that, and you're not the only one. I think there's a lot of women out there that can identify with you because
Yes.
before I met my husband and before I was by myself for 4 years, no relationship, no dating, no nothing. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I have 7 children
Mm-hmm.
before. And now we have one, me and him. So I have 8 children. He got 2 children. We got 10 children. Sometimes I used to think, who's gonna, my ex-husband put that thing on my head.
Say that, Sonia. Please say that.
Who's gonna take you with 8 children? He used to put that on my head. Who's gonna take you with 7 kids? Nobody's gonna pick you up with 7 kids. Guess what? Somebody did, and it's a good and better man that I ever
Say that,
had.
Sonia.
I'm
Woo!
telling you, that played on
Whoa.
my head for
Oh.
years. That's why
Oh.
for 4 years I was
Oh. Come on.
on my own. Who's gonna take you? They just gonna want you for this and drop you. Well, it's been 5 years, baby, and I'm still standing. 5 years
Come
with this
on.
relationship, and I am
Did,
so
did, did, did
grateful.
she say she's a newlywed? Did y'all hear she was a newlywed?
Absolutely.
Sonia, my daughter has 6 children.
Mm-hmm.
We're from New York and we both moved to Atlanta. I'm like, girl, where you meet these guys? And my daughter be like, I have 6 children,
Mm-hmm.
proudly.
Yes, absolutely.
And she never, I don't know if she said this or not, because she got her own business too.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I don't think she has ran into a man who says, well, you got 6 kids. I don't. That's in the belief system. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about, Sonia, that stops people from doing different things. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna give up on the relationships. Oh, you know what? I'm too old. What's the point of me trying to take my life back? I'm 61. That
Hey.
is a wrong belief system that I was, and I talk a lot about, the trauma mindset was developed from our childhood, from family members, there are traumas, there are a mindset that was put into us by society.
Absolutely.
Society says, Nellie, what you doing talking about you going to Paris next year? Girl, if you don't go and collect your social security check and sit down somewhere,
Amy.
that was from society.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you what? So yeah, that's why it's so important. And I'm always talking about the trauma mindset, because it's the mindset that causes us to be stuck. You know what I mean? So we got society telling, we got our own trauma mindset to tell us stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to fix that before we go into 2024. We need to remove that. Like we said, we got to develop some resilience, because even though we taking our life back and we giving you the steps, you have to develop some resilience. You're going to have to fight through some obstacles. You're going to have to say, that's what society says, but that's not true.
That's not me.
We got to get ready. 2024. That's why we're doing these kind of lives in December. We got to renew our mindset, right? So again, you know what? If please, we want to hear your response, whether you're on the live, whether you watch the replay, go into the chat, go into the comment section on YouTube. If you're watching this from the Learning Lounge, comment under the post. Let us know. Can you identify what we're saying, and tell us what were your biggest lessons from the past year? What was your biggest lesson? Right? Oh, good stuff. Real talk stuff. Wow. Yes.
We
Okay.
go
So
through
let's
challenges just like everybody else. We go through challenges. We have our ups and downs, but we have to learn how to push through, ladies. We have to learn.
yes,
That's
yes,
why you
yes,
need to equip yourself with them tools,
yes.
a great support group that's going to back you up, that you know is going to have your back. And I always say, stay away from them fake friends.
That's
The ones that hug you but turn around and smile at your back, you know who they are.
the one to tell you you too
We
old for that.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was my. We know who the people talking behind our backs. We know the people, and even though we let it go, we think people don't. They're not gonna change. If they doing that, remove them from your life, just like this, and keep it moving.
Delete,
You're
delete,
gonna be way
delete,
better. Mm-hmm.
delete, delete, delete.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
let's move and make a shift into the segment two of our talk show this evening. Segment two is like strategies to renew a trauma informed mindset. Remember, I said in the beginning, we just can't say, yeah, I'm going into my next 2024 and I'm going to make it happen. Remember, we said you're going to need some steps. If you've
Yes.
been procrastinating, self sabotaging, you're going to need steps. You're going to need some tools. You're going to need something to help you. You can't just walk in there thinking this year going to be different when you've been trying to fight this thing or trying to achieve your goal for the last 10 years. Because that was my story. Trying to do the same goal every year, wondering why I couldn't accomplish it. So let's talk about some strategies. You know, how can we refresh our perspective to navigate challenges better? I want to rephrase that. Remember, I said, even though we're going to a good place, 2024, even though I'm going to learn how to break free from procrastination and self sabotage. It is going to be a challenge.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a challenge. Just own it, accept it. It's going to be a challenge. So, how can we refresh our perspective, which is how we see something? How can we change the way we see our challenges? How can we see it differently? Right? So think about that as we move on. You
I
know,
have.
um, I'm sorry. You want to say something, Sonia?
Yes, I said I love this. I don't know which one you is. What are you going to talk about? But I have a few of them, and the one that I like most. I mean, there's a lot that you can use when you're trying to renew your trauma
Lot.
mindset. Like you say, some strategies. Some you have to have. You have to have a format. You have to have a backup plan. But one of my favorites, which is not that complicated,
Hmm.
and a lot of women out there can try it, for me is prioritizing self care. I I didn't see a lot of change on me until I actually started with prioritizing my self care, having my me time,
Can you
giving me
explain
time.
how did that help you? How having me time helped you?
It really did, Natalie, because sometimes I was stressed from work. I still had to do she's taking her life back. I still had come and cook for my husband and my son. I still
Mhm.
spent time. And sometimes it was overwhelming where you start getting that frustration where you come home and I was really, this was me. I come home and I go see my son, but then I was like, he wanna watch a movie. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I just had a long, but that's
Yes.
not my family's. I feel like it's not my family's fault that I'm tired, that I had a long day at work. It's not my employees' fault that I feel frustrated because I still got things to do at home. So I started saying, I had a conversation with my husband. I said, hey, this
Mhm.
was I think a year ago, Natalie. We started with the self care and doing them posts on she's taking her life back,
Mhm.
and we're doing, and I started serious. I'm gonna take it, and he said, "Do it, baby. Do it. Just tell me. Like, just do a calendar. Write it down. Put it on your phone." So he's very supportive. So I did.
Mhm.
I said, "Look, on my days off, I'm gonna take when the baby's napping. I'm gonna take that a whole at least an hour, even if he's still napping, a whole hour, just for me." And how it helps me, Natalie. It's even if I had a long day, even if it's a day that I'm not off, it could be a day that I was just stressful, and I come and I say, hey, I need some me time. He already
Yeah.
knows, okay, just leave the baby in the room. Don't take his gate out, don't let him out.
Yeah.
I go,
Yeah.
I fill in my bathtub, I put in my bubbles, I take my phone, I listen to some inspirational, motivational speaker. If
Mhm.
it depends on the if I want to listen about strengthening my mind. If I want to listen
Mhm.
about how to uplift your spirit, whatever it is that I really need at that moment, I Google it. I put it ready. I lay in the bathtub and I just listen to it and I relax and I ain't gotta worry about if somebody's at the door. If the phone rings, I don't have to answer because it's my time. I can call you back after I'm done. But it
Yeah.
really helps me renew my mind. It really helps me calm. I like
Yes.
breathing while I'm in there. I breathe. I just close my eyes and everything is just like this is just my time, my space, and there's nothing that can invade that space. Then once I'm out, I'm back into mommy mode. I'm back into this, but it really helps me. That's it. It helps me,
Mhm.
like you say, transforming your mindset. It's one of the steps I love, and
Mhm.
it's not only that, but self care also. I take my walks. I like to take my walks. Take my son and his daughter.
Mm.
It really helps me. Just nature, just walking and watching him, and the sky
Yeah.
is beautiful. There's some things that sometimes we miss. Sometimes I go to my balcony and I see the stars and I'm like, wow, the sky looks so beautiful. Like I didn't pay attention in a whole
Mhm.
week. I didn't even notice. So I have
Yeah.
self care.
Yeah.
It really helps me through my everything, like my recovery, through my life, through my all personal experiences. All it really helps me. But
Yeah.
self care is very important.
Well, so you don't took two of my things, right?
Oh,
You don't
my
talked
bad.
about two. No, but it's okay. It's okay. But those two are on my list.
Oh.
There's a wealth, but those it is so important what you talked about.
Mhm.
Because I can imagine that somebody that it may be looking at this or looking at it later and saying, "I got so much to do. I gotta cook. I gotta do this." And look, ain't nobody got time to be. She's taking her life back. Ain't nobody. But if you take the time like to renew your mind, do some self-care, get in
Absolutely.
that tub, relax. You'd be surprised on what you can accomplish. Have you some of
Absolutely.
your audience, have you ever had that time where you just like motivated, you're in a good place, and you knocking goals off your list? One, two, three, getting it done, doing the housework, getting this done.
Absolutely.
But that day where you stressed, you like, I don't have no time to be doing that. You just can't get stuff done. So, like Sonia said, it is so important, and this is part of the strategies and the part of how we have to think differently about how we do stuff. The first thing is preparing yourself to go, renewing your mind, becoming distressed, relaxing. Listen to something motivational. That's a way to calm you. It gets you energized. Like, I could do this. I can knock 10 things off my list. Yes,
Absolutely.
it's so important. So important when we talk about renewing the mindset and preparing you to go into 2024, because there are going to be obstacles when you walk in the door from work. You have children, they're going to be obstacles. So prepare yourself with tools. Okay. So, all right. Like Sonia says, husband, I got to do this. So I need you to do this so I can do this. She's preparing ahead of time.
Yes.
She's preparing ahead of time. And I'm saying this to Sonia. I'm sure she's okay with me saying it because Sonia's assistant manager at her job, right? So she has a lot of responsibilities, right? She already made it known at work. She probably didn't tell them this, but she told us on the team Wednesdays are my she's taking a life back day.
I don't work on Wednesdays.
Working on Wednesdays. I ain't trying to like rush do this. Wednesday is she taking a life back day.
Hmm.
She thought about it ahead of time. So this is gonna work for me. So if I have this day, I ain't gotta be rushing and doing all this stuff
Hmm.
because I carved out this day on told my job. Wednesdays is my
Hmm.
That's how she looked at a challenge from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
This day is this day. Husband, Wednesdays is
Oh,
you
he
take
knows
care.
what he tells me, Natalie. When he sees me, I'm doing something. I'm very quiet. I'm going
Mhm.
like this to my, hey, baby. Oh, you taking your life back. That's the
Yes.
whole day. Oh, you taking your life back? I'm like, okay.
So you know,
So now he does that. I turn around and I see him on his laptop on the day off, and I'll be like, "Hey, baby, what you doing?" He'd be like, "Don't talk to me. I'm taking my life back." Oh,
come
okay.
on, yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
he's doing work. He's doing his
Love
research.
it. Love it.
Yes, he is. He
I
is.
love it. So yeah, that is so cool. Yes, you guys know, like this is my time. We already know this day, this time is my time to take my life back. That's how you face challenges. That's how you ensure you have a clear mind. So you won't get to those places and you'll say, I ain't got time. I'm too tired. That's where the self-sabotage comes in. That's where the
That's right.
procrastination, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I do. So we got a plan. This December, this is the planning stage. This is where we come up with, okay, I know I got this going on. I know I got a job. I know I got children. So how can I work all that in? Let me plan now in December before January hit. Let me plan. So yeah, Sonya came up with a couple, but there's so many. But because we're so limited by this talk show, these are the ones that I'm going to talk about. You know, even these different topics, there's so many different skills you can do. But I'm going to keep it simple. But I'm going to talk about how we can make more available to you after this live. So this is what I'm going to be talking about. These are the strategies to help you renew your mindset. One of them is mindfulness practices. And I'm going to go into explaining what that is. So being mindful, and you probably heard that term, but I'm going to talk about that. What can I do? What is mindfulness practices? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about reframing techniques. That's like one of my favorites, you know, because I'm a professional counselor and I'm also certified like in anger management. And through anger management, I teach this course, and they do it so well in reframing, reframing your mindset. And for those who don't know what the word they're reframing, that means how can you change it and do it differently? How can you look at it differently? How can I change, reframe? How can I do, like you have a picture in a frame. So I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to put it in another frame. I'm reframing it. This frame ain't working for this picture. So I'm going to take this picture and put it in another frame. I'm going to reframe it. I love that. We're going to go into reframing. The other
Yeah.
one is fostering self-compassion.
Oh,
On
oh,
this journey, you're going to need to learn to be passionate to yourself. Because let me tell you, I don't let anybody fool you. Anybody that works towards a goal, and some people get it faster, don't think for a minute there's not bumps in the road. Don't think they're not facing obstacles. So when we talk about fostering self-compassion, we have to have it set up those days where, you know what, they may be a day that you said today was she's taking life back, and you know what, it just worked out that particular day. It wasn't she's taking the life back. We don't need you to say, I messed up. See, give yourself some grace. Say, you know what, we're going to do next Wednesday differently. I'm not going to be myself. No, it's okay. Next Wednesday, we're gonna do this differently. So that's important. That is a strategy you're going to need. That's part of that self-care. I need to take care of my mindset. So important. And ladies, I want you to really, as we talk about this, I've been counseling long enough where you get people who look at this and like, ain't nobody doing all of that.
mm-mm.
I feel motivated. I got this motivation to go to 2024. Let me tell you something about motivation. It doesn't last long. You may feel rah, 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 but slowly it dwindles. So, I'm a speaker. I don't call myself a motivational speaker. I am a transformational speaker. I'm here to help you transform your life, not motivate you, because you're going to be motivated. A few minutes later, it's going to fizzle out. So if you're somebody who really, really, really is serious about going into 2024, I would take the time, even though I would take the time, you know what? I'm going to educate myself about these things. I'm going to educate myself about these things, because you got to ask yourself, everything up to now, has it worked for you?
Mm.
When you went into 2023, just having that motivation and saying 2020 is going to be different, did that work for you? You know, and I'm known for asking the tough questions and keeping stuff real. Did it work for you? So even if you're looking at these words, you know, and we're here to help you through this process. But even if you're looking at this stuff, I'm here to tell you it works. They work. You're going to need tools. Don't fool yourself. When you're wondering why you didn't make it last time, because you weren't equipped. So we're here to equip you today. So these are some of the techniques that we're going to talk about. And like I said, there's so much more. So much more. And the thing about, you know, I want you to understand about mindset, it plays a pivotal role in being resilient. What I mean by being resilient, being able to handle setbacks, being able to handle obstacles, being able to do those things. The more you have a mindset that's prepared to go in 2024, some of those obstacles that used to bother you before or cause you to procrastinate and self-sabotage,
You did not have to worry about them.
they ain't gonna affect you anymore. Like, won't be problem free, but it ain't gonna affect you. I got a plan now.
Natalie, your
So
volume. Oh, there you go.
go ahead. You want to say something?
Yes, I was gonna say that one of the most important things that we always talk about in All She's Taking Her Life Back is about breaking free from self-limited beliefs. And this is an example of that. Breaking free from them self-limited beliefs when we go to this 2024 and all these tragedies that you're giving us,
Mm-hmm.
they together breaking free and utilizing these tragedies, it can be a goal changer. It could be a real changer for all the women that are
Life
struggling
changing.
out there with anything. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Sonia. You know, so let's begin to talk about a technique that's called cognitive restructuring.
Mm.
And for those who don't understand what cognitive means, cognitive is your way of thinking. Your thinking. And restructuring again is let's do it differently. So let's do your thinking differently. Let's renew that mindset. And cognitive restructuring is a strategy that can help you do that. You know, one of the things about cognitive restructuring, you know, it helps when people start this negative thinking. This negative thinking. You know, I want to, and I haven't even thought about this before this live, but I'm gonna sit here. Let's throw some negative thinking that's out there that cause people to self-sabotage. Think about.
Natalie,
Go ahead.
no. I'm listening. I'm just thinking about what you were gonna say. I'm like, oh, you gotta throw some of them shade they be throwing out there. Come on, I want to hear you. I want to hear you because I've heard it all too.
Let, 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 let's start with who you hanging around.
Mm.
Real talk. Are you hanging around anybody that's supporting you to have a good 2024? Or are you hanging around people who saying, girl, you've been trying that for 5 years. Girl, you might as well give that up. And then this is what you're hearing from people around you. Then you start to believe like, you know what? Let me just give up everything. Then you stuck with your negative thoughts. Because if you experience trauma, please don't get this twisted. If you experience trauma, even me, at a working on healing and still going to therapy, don't get it twisted. I don't pop up with negative thoughts. Didn't I say earlier that God, I'm 61.
Mm.
Negative thinking is going to pop up.
Mm.
It may not pop up for long, but you're gonna have some negative belief. Now, if you got your own negative belief due to your trauma, because somebody told you years ago you're not good enough, you're not worthy, and then you started believing it. Now you're hanging around other people who telling you the same thing. No wonder you sabotaging. No wonder you procrastinating. No wonder you giving up on your dream. That negative thinking. Let me give you another example. For instance, let's say somebody feels unworthy due to their past experiences. You know what? Let's take that. I feel unworthy. I don't feel good enough. Right? I just something popped in my head just now, which is let me say this example. This is I love the mindset. This is some deep stuff. Like, they're women, and it was including me, right? You're no longer in a domestic violence relationship, right? You don't pass that stage. You don't pass. You already seen. We ain't doing that no more, right? So I'm not doing that anymore. But are you going to look for the man that is worthy of you? Or are you stuck saying, you know what, I don't trust no man. I ain't getting in no relationship ever again. Because look at all the men in my life. I'm not doing relationships anymore. How many times you've heard women say that? Audience, have you said that? I'm not dealing with no men no more. I'm not doing it because I'm out of that mess. So what happens is that person is stuck between, okay, I'm not doing the negative men anymore, not the toxic relationships. But I'm not going to look for the man who may be right for you, who's not going to hurt you. So you opt in to say, I'm going to be stuck in the middle. I'm here to tell you, let's get real. Let's get real. The reason why you may have said, I'm just going to give up on all men, because let me tell you something. Okay, what you say, there's some good men out there. You've been in one or two. So why aren't you going to get them? Why aren't you going to where they hang out? Let me talk about me. The reason why years ago I didn't go hang out with them, because when I started looking at the men that I want, guess what popped up in my head? They're not going to want you. They're not going to want you. All these negative trauma, self-talk. Remember, he didn't want you. Your father didn't want you. All that negativity. And fear shows up. And anxiety shows up. So although there are good men out there, you prefer to say all men are dogs. And that's just a mask to stop you from going to look for Mr. Right, because you don't feel comfortable. You don't think you're worthy. You're not going to think you want, so you just say all men are dogs. I ain't even going to be in no relationship. And you sabotage an opportunity to find your Mr. Right because of negative thinking. And then you hang around other women with that negative thinking. Yeah, girl, all men are dogs. So when we talk about cognitive restructuring, we need something to start changing that thinking. You need to fix that. You're never going to find your Mr. Right. So what cognitive restructuring does, ladies, it starts you from challenging the validity of that statement. It has you start challenging, is that statement true? So this is an example of how you challenge your thinking to hopefully help you restructure your thinking, hoping you to renew your mindset. So as your coach, one of the questions I would ask you, you say all men are dogs. So let's challenge whether that's true or not. You know, my first question going to be, do you even know all men? Let's start there. So you have met all the men in this world. So this about, I don't know how many, but I'm sure it's about 1 billion men on this planet. So you have met all billion of the men on this planet, and you not only met them, but make a decision, all men are dogs.
Based on your personal experience.
But do you see that? Like, your statement that you probably hear other women that are around you saying that all men are dogs. The first of all, do you even know all the men in the world? That's called challenging the validity of your thinking. Is what you're saying even valid? Is what you're saying even true? Let's start there. That's part of cognitive restructuring. Those are questions I'm asking you. So you've been around a billion men
Mhm.
to make a full informed decision that all of them are no good. And then when I usually do stuff like that, and I'm gonna go to what Sonia said because I heard. So when I start doing stuff like that, people will say, "Well, I'm not talking about all men." See, now we done got you off of the all men are dogs because you realize you don't know all the men in the world. Then we get to the point where Sonia just said, if you ladies heard her, who you really talking about is the men in your personal experience. You're talking about the men who you came in contact with. So let's do the math with that. I'm just saying, you know what? Say I'm 61 and all my life I've been with 10 men. I'm just throwing it out there. So based on 10 men that were toxic, I now in my mind equate that to me, those 10 men are representing 1 billion men on this planet. Because of these 10 men. Come on now, what did these young people say? And a friend of mine was saying it before, how these young people say that math ain't mathing.
Mm-mm.
That ain't adding up. So because of the 10 men that hurt you, you made a decision that the billions of other men on the planet are dogs too. And then when I present that, people are like, well, you know what? Hopefully you think this. You know what? She may have a point.
Mhm.
Because so that's called challenging the validity. And when you start back, and sometimes it take people to say, I don't care what you think, I'm in the dogs. They'll go back somewhere and they start thinking like, you know what? You got a point. I don't know. That begins the stage of renewing your mindset about men. The door has become open, hopefully, that you are now saying and questioning
Mhm.
maybe the way I was thinking about my men and my mindset was wrong. Now let's talk about as a coach. I'm gonna help you out because if you go to my TikTok, Trauma Mindset Coach, I have a video on there, and I talk about how all men aren't dogs. And the reason why and women really say that is because they are so afraid if they get into another relationship, I may run into another Mr. Wrong, so I'm not taking the risk. I'm shutting the relationship down. No more relationship. What that is making that statement that's not true. That's your way of protecting you from being hurt. That's what that really is about. If I can say all men are dogs, I don't have to take the risk anymore. And a friend of mine, we were talking about that statement, and then we also come to we also come to realize we move closer to renewing our mind. We started realizing, yeah, the truth is, it ain't about all men are dogs. If I don't want to be hurt anymore, I don't
Mhm.
want to be hurt anymore. I don't want to be hurt anymore. But what if we can tell you, ladies, if you feel that way, we have a way to help you. We also have a way to help you, and it's in that same video on TikTok of mine, that even if you run into Mr. Wrong, because you might, 'cause some people perpetrate a fraud when you meet them, they put
Mhm.
up their representative. What about you have learned the signs of an unhealthy man, and you say, you know what, this is where I exit. I'm getting off this ride. You're not the one. Next. See, the reason why that we haven't come to that point in the past, honestly, is because we honestly don't really trust ourselves. Because when you begin to really improve your self esteem and your self worth by renewing your mindset about who you are, it don't matter who run up to you. You can say, okay, I done gave this a try for a month. Baby, you ain't the one. It was nice knowing you. The next one, I done gave it a try. You ain't the one. And you keep going till one day your Mr. Right may show up. But see, the real deal is, like I said, and I get it. I'm too afraid to take the risk. We gonna, as coaches, we gonna help you understand that when you see it coming, get out. See what happened in my relationships, and many women who feel that way, they say, "Oh, men are dogs. I want out. They all dog." Lord, just my mind, my thought process went somewhere else. Oh, the real issue is that you have to accept. Not only did you or the one that invited them into your life, you didn't leave when it was time to leave. See, we know early on, like, you know what, this brother,
Mm.
I don't think he the one. But see, what we do, because when you experience trauma, even when Mr. Wrong shows up, Mr. Wrong is your familiar. He represents maybe your father that was in your life, in your childhood, the men in your life. So you're used to being around him. So we start thinking like, I'll be the one that's changing him. I'll change him. I'll get him to change. Instead of saying, you're not the one, I'm out. You see how we renew our mindset? It took me time, but I got there. I stayed too long. I stayed too long. Well, other women who are healthier than me said, "Oh, babe, you ain't the one." I stayed, and I stayed, and I stayed, and I stayed, and I stayed. But I learned to renew my mindset, and I also have to be careful. Like, I can't be like, "Oh, he did one thing wrong." No, wait a minute. No, I'm never perfect. Look, and real talk, I've done this. Look, I met this man. He kind of may seem like he kind of may be okay. I just want to, share with you about him as we go in this dating process. Let's talk about that. What dating is. Dating is to figure out if he's the one. Dating ain't the period of time you say we get married. It's the figuring out process before you make the commitment. So while you're in this dating process, you need to go to somebody like, this happened. He said this went on. What do you think? And then you're like, okay, because I did. I was like, okay, that don't kind of seem right. I don't know. I don't like end it right here because because of my trauma. I don't want to say I'm out too quickly. Let me just see. But that caused my antennas to be up. Next time, oh, it was nice knowing you. I'm not staying any longer. It was nice knowing you. And then I go to somebody like a coach or my therapist, and real talk, I went to my therapist like, do you think it's time for me to get out of this? Because I'm used to like being around with toxic men, so and my men picker was broken, so I need the assistance of you to kind of, is this where I exit? Is this where I tell him it was nice knowing you? I began to renew my mind. I began to recognize that I don't have to stay.
Absolutely.
It don't matter. I'm 61. I don't have to stay. There's men out there who gonna want me. That's
I'm on the
cognitive
same side.
restructuring. I no longer think all men are dogs. I now think, you know what? I have to begin to look at men differently, select men differently, and know when to get out when it's not right. So you wanted to add something?
Yes, I was so amazed. I was listening to you, and I was like, all this thoughts start flying into my head. Natalie, this is something I want to share with the ladies. That I want to say one of the biggest mistakes we commit when we're going through into a new relationship, when we've been in an abusive, domestic violence, sexual abusive relationship, whatever your situation is and you've already overcome and you go to therapy and you feel like you're moving on and you're going. And Natalie was just talking, when we rephrase to all men being the same, or as we Hispanic Latino people say, they're all cut with the same scissor. They're all cut with the same scissor. That means they come from the same
Mm-hmm.
lineage.
Okay.
So one of the biggest mistakes we make is, and I'm gonna give you this tip and advice. When you start going out with the men, even if you're just knowing him and you don't know if it's gonna go bad or good, if he's really Mr. Right or not, let him get to know you. Did you hear that? Let him get to know you, not your ex relationship, not your ex partner. Oh, it's because he was mean. It's because he abused me. It's because he cheated on me and I forgave him. And you already telling him it's okay for you to go cheat and I'm gonna forgive you. It's okay for you to abuse me and I'm gonna forgive you. And I still stayed with him. And then when he asks you, well, how long you stayed? 3, 4 years we had to, and he's gonna be looking at you like, oh no. So you already
She'll
letting
put
him
up with
know
anything.
what he can do and what he can't get away with it. So instead of him dating your ex relationship, let him get to know you. Let him know what happened with your ex relationship. It didn't work out. That's all we have to say at the beginning. It didn't work out. You can get into details once our relationship is good, then we can get into details. But when you tell them the first date, the second date, 3 days, oh, it's because I'm scared of being alone. I'm scared of because they've left me before. He already know. We already put laying it on the table for him. So don't make that mistake when you go into a new relationship. Renew your mindset. No, if it, do some digging there. How do I, approach another if I want to be in a good healthy relationship? Speak about yourself and speak highly about yourself. Don't come either like Natalie says. It's how we presume ourselves. I am a great person. I deserve better. I If he gonna tell you I ain't got time, maybe later, well, bye. I ain't got time either. What you think I'm gonna be sitting by the phone waiting for you to call me? If you ain't got time, I ain't got it either. My time is as valuable as you. And that's how you have to see yourself. You have to see yourself like the empowering and beautiful and amazing women that you are being created to be. Thank you, Natalie.
Sonia, I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'm like stuck here, Sonia. If there's something that was, ladies, that's where renewing the mind comes in. We're sitting on the first day, telling this man everything. I've been in all these domestic violence relationships, Yeah, so like you said, it just didn't work out.
Mhm.
Period. We're giving this person information on how they can treat you.
Mhm. Don't
Because
give that power
I want.
away.
Oh my! I just can't. You just blew me away with that one, Sonia.
Mhm.
Why are we telling them all that? It didn't work out.
Yep.
Huh? We need to do a no. We're gonna do you just gave me an idea. We got to do a video. We have to do a video on how to date after a toxic relationship. We have to, Sonia.
Yeah, I
We
like
just
that.
have to, because real talk. I didn't even know. I used to do that years ago. Well, let me tell what happened to your last relationship? Man, he was abusive. He would. I'm giving all this man ammunition. Guess what he did? Oh, she put up with that. Oh,
Mhm.
because the reality, I also learned that you would run into a man and you would think, okay, maybe this guy has potential. And then you notice that the guy may not be interested in you any longer. Now, our trauma mindset may tell us maybe something was wrong with me, that he didn't want to be with me. Maybe that wasn't it. Maybe he realized I don't think I'll be able to control this one, so I can't do her. She's not gonna go for what I'm.
Mhm.
This ain't gonna work. That's the reason why he wasn't interested.
Mhm.
But maybe if you would have said, "I've been in demand," he probably say, "Bingo, this is the one I want."
Mhm.
And again, that's how we have to renew our mindset. It may not be because you're not worthy of him. Maybe that he can't control you. He sees already. Oh, she ain't gonna put up with my stuff.
Yep.
We gotta renew our mindset. It may not be because you're not worthy. He didn't like you. Something was maybe. I even had. Let me tell you something. I had real talk. It was a situation like that with somebody that I know. Maybe no name thing. The guy even he would at least he was kind enough to say, I can't be with you because I know the kind of women that I want to be with, and I know you're not gonna put up with me. Like
Mm.
if I was ready to be married and all that, I would come for you. I'm not the one for you.
Mhm.
So it's not always because something wrong with you. Some men just know I'm not gonna be able to manipulate her. That's because
Mhm.
you know what? Because you know what, ladies, because we renewed our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
We learned how to date differently.
Mhm.
We learned to date.
Mhm.
That's
Yes, we
called
have.
renewing your mindset. That's called cognitive restructuring. Let's think about this dating thing differently. See, that's an example. And I want to say that because there's some women that, including me, I wanted to learn, like, I want to be in a relationship. I never said, like, all men are dolls, right? Because I pushed away Mr. Right years ago. I never said that. I just needed to learn to date differently. I needed someone to teach me. I need someone who understood, that no one taught me growing up what dating was. My father wasn't available to model for me, like, this is how you date, daughter. I didn't have that. But now we have opportunities, even at our age. Let's learn how to do that. And that's why we have coaches. That's why we have mindset coaches. That's why I went into trauma mindset, because you can change your mindset. And you will be surprised how you will look at life differently. You would be surprised. I was telling a friend of mine, right? Because we're like, okay, 2024 going to be different. We're going to start hanging out even more places where our Mr. Right going to be.
Mm.
Together, we was able to say, girl, but we scared. We ain't never been over there before. Well, girl, we go together. Let's go together. Let's make a commitment. We go together. If we're afraid and anxious, at least we got each other. But we're going. We came up with a plan. We came up with a plan. We're going. And we sat there, we were like, but this is different. But we said we're gonna commit. And it wasn't just about relationship, even other stuff in life. We're just gonna commit for 2024 that we are going to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yeah, so thank you. So that you just hit you, Lord. You don't know what you did when you said that, Sonia. Let me move on. You know, another one. Remember, I talked about. We're also going to talk about mindfulness practices. You know, being mindful. You can see the word mindful. What mindful does, it helps you be present in the moment. We got a lot of stuff coming on. This is where challenge. We got a lot of stuff on my mind. I got the kids. I got this. I got that. I got that. I got my negative self-talk telling me I ain't gonna be doing it. Being mindful and practicing that techniques helps you quiet the noise. It helps you. Let's not focus on what we're gonna cook for dinner in an hour. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about being present in the moment. We're not adding on what I'm gonna wear to work tomorrow, what I'm gonna cook for dinner. That's too much. We just gonna worry about this moment. We're gonna be mindful of where we're at in this moment. Then what we're going to learn to do is when we're quiet in that moment, we're going to start examining the kind of thoughts that we think. I remember years ago when I started doing, because before I never even thought about thinking about what I was thinking. I just reacted. But when I started learning to be mindful and like, let me start examining my thoughts, I was like, oh my God, I am such a negative thinker. Oh my God, this is what I'm thinking every day. I promise you, if you take the time, and even Sonya, even times I'll have to tell myself, shut up.
I've done that.
Because we'll go up on a loop. We start being angry at this. Let me give you an example. Somebody did something. You walking down the street, somebody stepped on your foot. We gonna get mad. Man, he stepped on my foot. Get on my last nerve. I'm tired of these people. Now we criticizing. Oh, he stepped on my feet because he was a white man. He don't like black people. That's why he stepped on my feet. I can't stand it. Then we start going on and on and on and on. All he did was step on your foot. It was an accident. But because some people have this negative way of thinking, we go into this negative loop. We start adding on to the story. Yeah, I remember the last person stepped on my foot. People still stepping on foot. They think I'm soft. We start going in this. But you will never know that you think negatively till you get to a place to be mindful and quiet and think about what are you thinking. I promise you, you'll be like,
Oh, me.
I
Ronald would
remember
be
when
like,
I used to be
Ronald
like,
would be right here doing
shut
this.
up.
He'd be right here. He'd be like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, everybody's talking at the same time. Where? I said, in here. I'm tired. He'd be like, take a break, baby.
Up.
Take a break.
We don't went from somebody stepped on your feet today. We don't took that story all but when I was 5 years old. I don't took when somebody 5 years old, somebody stepped on my feet.
Yes, it'd be dramatic because it's also what I could have done different. I should have said something, and then you
Yes.
replay the story over and over how you could have reacted, how he could have prayed, how he would have. Maybe he even apologized to you in your head because you, and he just goes on. I've had that. I had to stop myself. Like
Oh my God.
my eyebrows go like this. I know. I already
Oh.
know you're thinking. It is crazy, Natalie. It's true.
And I'm talking about other people's negative. That's in my head. So what we need to do is and become mindful and start getting familiar with how we think. We got to challenge our thinking, and when you begin to do that, you start becoming aware. Well, some people, if you want to do this, you'll become aware. You'll be like, oh my God, this is the way I think. I got to do something different, and then hopefully you start going into, let me find a solution. That's becoming self-aware. Like you're becoming aware of your thoughts, the way you think, what you need to change. I need to fix this. Especially, remember, we speak to women who experience trauma, especially women like us who experience trauma. We will get triggered by things in life. I don't care how much work you do, how much there's gonna be moments. They're not as frequent as they used to be, but any given moment, something can trigger a trauma-related thought. But if you learn to be mindful and go into your head and start thinking, okay, I know this triggering a thought. Let me do some reality testing. Is this true? And I used to do this. Like I had to get to a place like, the way I'm thinking and feeling about this person really has nothing to do with this person. They just reminded me of somebody from my past. They just triggered something in me. And then I learned I have to figure out a way to manage that because I experienced trauma and it's going to happen. What we talked about, let's be prepared. Let me add this. When we talk about going into 2024, Please understand, not only negative situations trigger a trauma response. Going into positive situations, because it's new, because it's unfamiliar, is going to trigger some stuff. Be prepared for that. Take December. Let's figure this out. You going into uncharted territories. If you're somebody who says, yes, I know I need to leave people behind because they're not supporting me, I need to get rid of them, you're going to be nervous because you're going to be like, now who do I hang out with? Then it's going to trigger again. The people that I should be hanging out with, they're not going to want me to be around them. It's triggering. Some of us go right back to our old friends who we say we can't stand, because going to the new good place is triggering some stuff from the past. I'm not good enough to be around them. I'm not good enough to be around them. So being mindful is going to help you examine your thoughts. It's going to help you manage your triggers when they show up, because you're going to be tuning out. You're going to go into your thoughts. You're going to be able to say, okay, I'm being triggered right now. Okay, so when I'm being triggered right now, this is the strategy I'm going to use. You're going to need it. You're going to be triggered going into a new place. It's uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. Prepare yourself now. Right? Prepare yourself. Let's move on. Ooh, this is some good stuff. Look, I'm going to go back and review this myself. You know,
That's what
one of
I
the
was
things,
just thinking about that. I was writing about it.
look, as I'm saying this, I'm like, it's some good stuff. The other thing, this is really good for people who experience trauma, who are triggered. Be prepared. Remember I said if you're triggered. This next strategy is called mindful breathing. And I believe Sonia talked about breathing earlier. Mindful breathing. I know these people say, like when I used to teach anger management, and part of it is, breathing. People are like, what's breathing gonna do for me? And I'm upset. Anybody gonna think about breathing?
Ooh, it works.
First of all, it's not gonna breathe. It's not gonna help you. You live it. You do it when you're at the low level of anger. First of all, use it there, right? But if you learn to deep breathing, I'm telling you, let's do it now. Let's take a
Yeah, I
moment.
like that. Oh, yes. Okay.
I want you to breathe. And let's start with learning how to breathe correctly. Nose. And you take a deep breath. And you blow it slowly out of your mouth. Breathe deeply. Blow it out of your mouth slowly. One more time. Breathe deeply. Blow it out of your mouth slowly. Let's stop here. What are you observing? If you do this, real deep breathing, and you do it several times, it has a way of calming your anxiety. It has a way of causing you to feel more peaceful. So when you're going into your next in 2024, and you're trying to, hang around new people and go to new situations that you're not familiar with, and it's triggering anxiety, it's triggering, the wrong thoughts, take just a moment, go somewhere. You'd be surprised how much that will give you a sense of calmness. Sometimes you got to do it more times. Sometimes 3 times is not going to work. Maybe I need to do it 10 times. I promise you it works. I promise you it works. Notice how calm you get. I want to move along. I do want to say this about when you start doing like these mindfulness techniques. One thing will help you is develop a ritual around there. Say like every morning I'm going to do some deep breathing before I start my day. We are not going to start our day with, I'm going to go to work. I can't stand that person. Oh, Lord, I got to go to work again. It's Monday. We ain't doing that. Then we're going to be mindful. Let me stop saying what a negative day I'm going to have when I go to work. Because you're being mindful and you notice you having a lot of thoughts. So now we're going to calm ourselves down through mindful practices, and we're going to start thinking differently. Today's going to be the best day I'm going to have in a long time. If so-and-so that I don't like at work comes to me, I have to accept the fact that this person is not going to change on my job. This person has been there that way as long as I've been on this job. So I'm no longer going to expect them to change. What I'm going to do is when I see them, I'm going the other way. I'm going the other way. Look, 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 look. Look. Okay, I have a couple of more, and I'm trying to think of which one because we can't do them all. There's so many to learn. So many to learn.
So much
Oh my God, there's so
information.
many.
That's what I was saying. There's so much information that I wish we could just but it just
Watch the replay. You got this is video form, so you can play it over and over again,
absolutely.
audience. Because I don't know about y'all. I'm saying this, and I'm saying I'm gonna watch this again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, and when I go through situation, that's gonna be part of my routine. Let me click on that video and listen to what I said that day,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I need that. I need a reminder. So this last one I'm going to talk about. This is the last one. There's so many, but it's the last one, and it's important to begin to have self-compassion.
Mm. Yes.
We all know this. Our negative thoughts, even though I'm talking about we need to change our negative thoughts, it's not going to happen overnight. Especially if you experience trauma. We're talking about a lot of our traumas came from childhood. So me, 61, we're talking about over 50 years of trauma. You know what? Give yourself compassion. It takes time. It takes time. Don't expect to get this in one day. It took me time. Took me time. So what I want you to understand is let's start beginning to have some self-kindness. So when we do have that negative thinking, let's not say, oh God, here I go again with that. Say to yourself, that's okay. I'm going to have a slip. This is new. I'm going to reward myself because you know what? I made an attempt. I decided to do something differently. Not, oh God, I'm messed up here. I go with it. No. Give yourself a reward. You made an attempt. And I promise you, the more and the more you do this, the less and less you're going to lay, oh man, I messed up. Because you're going to learn to catch yourself. So you may start with, before when I had this negative thought and I go on and on and on, you know, how we probably did it for an hour. Now I'm only doing it for 45 minutes. And I keep on practicing, I'm only doing this for 30 minutes. And I keep on practicing, I'm only doing this for 10 minutes. I'm only doing this, but that's going to take time. So reward yourself for the baby steps. Give yourself some compassion for deciding that I'm going to make a decision to renew my mind. Let's reward you for that. Let's reward you. Let's reward you for being open to say, you know what? I was with this thing, but you know, I stayed for the whole video. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. Be kind to yourself. You know, there's sometimes that, you know, we will be kind to other people more than we be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself the way you talk to other people who you being kind to. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. This is a journey.
Absolutely.
This is a journey. We're gonna make mistakes. This is the process. Just make a decision to begin today. Like Sonia said earlier, we are coaches. I'm a trauma mindset coach. Sonia is a trauma addiction recovery coach. We have Julia, who's a spiritual life coach. We are here to help. I want you to stay tuned. I want you not only to stay tuned, I want you to subscribe to this channel. I want you to like it, share it, review it. I want you to do that for yourself. Make that your Christmas gift by simply subscribing and saying, I'm going to be looking at these videos because they prepare me for the month of December. I'm going to commit to doing that. I'm going to give myself a break. I'm going to be kind. I'm not going to have it overnight. If you're struggling even more, again, like I said, stay tuned. Not only to subscribe to this channel for the coaching package that we have. I'll be putting up a sign up, a wait list. Get on the wait list for our coaching services. Get it soon because you'll be getting at a discounted price. Commit. We're available. We've been doing this for a while. We're transparent. We're going to keep it honest. We're going to share with you real techniques that we use ourselves in our real life. We're going to be available to support you. Make that decision. This is December. We're laying the foundation. Give yourself a gift of the next stage of your life in 2024. Anything you want to say, Sonia?
Yes, Natalie, I just want to say, absolutely, ladies, either you were on our live or you weren't able to make it and you watched the replay. Remember to share this video with other women that can benefit of it. It is very important to continue building foundation on She's Taking Her Life Back YouTube live to help other women find their purpose and overcome their traumas and experience and become better in life. And I just want to say that we have so much to offer here, and She's Taking Her Life Back. And we are really passionate on helping other women. We are women, like Natalie always says, that have experience. I've experienced addiction, child abuse, sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in unhealthy relationships. I was raised in a home where it was absolutely no boundaries. It wasn't for a child to be grown on. So I'm saying our experiences are real. We've walked your shoes, we've been in that situation, and we want you to know that we are here. And sometimes we need that other person that has been in our situation so we can understand and see how this person was able to do it. There's hope for everybody, and there is light after the storm, or there is a rainbow after the storm, however you want to say it, but there is light after the tunnel. So ladies,
Yes, it is.
thank you for joining. This is She's Taking Her Live Back YouTube live. Thank you, Natalie, coach trauma mindset, Natalie, for all this information that you brought us. I had fun, I enjoyed it, I really did. And I can't wait for our next weeks. And like always, subscribe, share, and like.
Yes. Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. And before we go, like I mentioned earlier, I just want you to know if you're really interested in doing some work, even before we begin our coaching series, I'm going to be offering worksheets and workbooks. So if you're interested in doing more of this work, like learning more strategies that I wasn't able to air here because of the time, look for the workbooks. I'll let you know. We'll have the link, worksheets, workbooks. You can begin there. They'll be available for sale and we'll let you know. All right? So take your life back. Take your life back. Have a good night.
Bye bye.